Hey there, my name is Sophia Jaber, and we're going to be talking about cloud service providers today. What is a cloud service provider? Why don't you take it away, Doug?
Thank you. I'm Doug Johnson. Thank you, Sophia. What is a cloud service provider? A cloud service provider is a company that provides a service or a set of services from a computer infrastructure that is located in a data center somewhere in the cloud, effectively. The cloud is a figurative term that basically means the equipment is not on site in your company. It's someplace else and you connect to it by the internet.
And we use that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Example of cloud service providers could be, Microsoft Office 365 or Salesforce, or, even logging into your bank to be able to check your bank balance or access your account on your phone. Your bank effectively is a cloud service provider.
Yeah. So what do you consider the best cloud service provider?
Well, there's really no best cloud service provider per se. It's really about what problem are you trying to solve, and what's the best company to provide a product that solves that problem.
Exactly. I was asking that question in my head. I'm like, there's just so many different variables. Like you said, it could be your bank that you're logging into, and that's a cloud service provider. But if you're looking to solve a problem, that's the first step. Where do we identify, the need? Is the need that you need to do a single sign-on? Because Microsoft does that really well with Active Directory, and we've set up quite a few clients for that. And then making sure we can enable two-factor. I mean, that's a perfect example for cloud.
Two-factor, that's interesting. In today's security environment, two-factor authentication, that's an authentication process where you have two different types of information. So you have something that i.e. your username and password, and something that you have, which could be a code or a text that comes to your telephone. But I think it's really important when you're looking for a cloud service provider, is to identify the need first, and then look in the marketplace and find a company that fills that need, and then evaluate them from that point. So, for instance, if you have a need for hosted email, unified communication, a chat function, file sharing, Microsoft Office applications, for instance, Microsoft Office 365 may be the perfect cloud service provider to fill that need for you. If the need is more along the lines of managing your sales force, managing your salespeople, keeping in touch with your contacts and tracking their activity, then you should be looking at a cloud service provider that provides a CRM solution, customer relationship management solution, such as Zoho or Salesforce.com.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was just thinking, there's so many different platforms. There are so many different companies and industries too. If you need something that would be for procurement, or if you're shipping units out, or if you just need to keep track of inventory, there are management cloud software that's available there as well on the Microsoft level with Dynamics. And then you also have, many other shipping or management software that is considered cloud-based that would be able to handle that for you.
Yeah, most all vendors these days are offering some sort of cloud offering, meaning that you don't have to buy the software and have it on premises running on a computer. That software as a service. You're paying a monthly fee by user typically to use that software. Most companies are providing those offerings now.
And, I think especially with cloud services, and what makes CyberTrust and what makes managed service so important is the security aspect of cloud service. So can you talk a little bit about what security measures would be helpful or to keep in mind when you're looking at cloud platforms?
Well, the average company has somewhere between 4 and 10 cloud services already. Typically, we'll come into a client and they won't even know they're in the cloud, but we start peeling back the layers and evaluating it. Their material requirements planning MRP solution is in the cloud. Their emails in the cloud. All these variety of different vendors. So we really have to look at all the vendors, and then we have to look at the security on a layer by layer. I believe you have to make a base assumption that the cloud service provider is doing everything they possibly can to protect your data and protect your experience on their end, and you have really no visibility into that. So you need to ask that provider. You can look online. You can see if they have the proper certifications, SAS 70 data center, things of that nature. But you really don't know what it is. So you need to really take precautions on your side. So your computers need to be protected. A single sign-on that you mentioned earlier and two-factor authentication is key. So a single sign-on service allows you to connect to multiple platforms through one username and password authentication experience.
Mhm.
You also need two-factor authentication so that people who are not you or impersonating you can't log into those services and gain access to them. So with two-factor, again, it's two pieces of information that you know, and then one piece of information that you have, i.e. an app on your phone or a text, a number that's sent to you by text.
Absolutely. Yep. And having that managed service provider service, like having someone like us, like CyberTrust, to be able to handle that is getting that peace of mind, because a cloud, when people think of the cloud, it's this big, thing in the sky that is so invisible that they don't really know how it works. And it's super important to have somebody there who has the knowledge, who has the know-how to say, okay, there's this much of it that we know for certain because we know and we're experienced in these platforms like Microsoft and so many others. So we would know, and we know how to help and make sure that security and that streamline, to get to that cloud is also protected and managed every day. And it's really important to have a managed service provider who has that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. The managed service provider is there to determine what cloud services you have and then look at all of them individually and collectively and craft a security solution and policy around them to protect you and your company's data.